And also, we had ourselves a youth intake. And welcome back to another episode of Outcasts 2 Icons. If you've been enjoying the series up to this point, of course, Drew, drop a like on the video or something like that. Honk if you like Beppis. So, today things start to get a little bit more fancy. Champions League quarterfinal draw. Third season in a row that we've reached this stage. Extremely happy. I think this is the most comfortable we've looked getting there. Despite the slight leg scare on against Leipzig, I think we were fairly comfortable across both legs against them. Now, looking at the draw, Atletico, Dortmund, United, Barca, Man City, but also Portsmouth and Southampton. And as far as I know, we can draw Southampton now, since another round has gone past. But Porto or Saints in the quarterfinals would certainly be something a little bit more interesting for us. So let's just jump into the draw and get going. As remember, there's a semi-final draw and I'm not going to forget about it this time. Away we go. Manchester City will play Atletico. So those are both off the cards. Dortmund, I'll give them Barca or United. Oh my goodness me. Wow. So Sassuolo will play... Yes! Come on! Sassuolo versus Porto in the Champions League quarterfinal. Southampton will play against Barcelona. Weird sentence, I realise, but they do deserve it after that 7-6 wonderfulness against Hertha Berlin. We get to play against Porto. Now, obviously, Porto are a damn good side. They wouldn't have got here if they aren't. But at the same time, come on. Let's see what they're doing in Liga NOS. They're currently top of the league with 69 points. Nice. Just ahead of Benfica. And incredibly, Vitória de Guimarães are third in Liga NOS right now, with Sporting looking very unlikely to even get top three as things stand, which is kind of mad. Casapia up there too, one for Foxy. I haven't looked at the Portuguese league really during this save. That's surprising. Not going to forget. Right, semi-final draw. At that point, really, it doesn't really matter who we get. Although, if it was Saints versus... Oh my god, it actually is. We could end up playing Southampton again if they beat Barcelona. I think we've ended up on a very favourable side of the draw, if I'm honest with you, friends. I'll take that. Right, that's what's coming up. And a youth intake. Back in a second, friends. Now that we know who we're playing in the next round of the Champions League, we're obviously going to have one eye on the other tie to see who we'd be potentially facing if we were to get one round further. And the best way to stay on top of all of that jazz is, of course, the OneFootball app. We'll get live score notifications from all the games around the Champions League and any other leagues and teams that we choose to follow, of course, from around Europe and the rest of the world. We'll be able to get statistics, news updates, transfer news, team lineups, all the good stuff, and no doubt a lovely bit of fan voting alongside. So as always, a massive thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video, and you can download the app for free with the link in the top line of the description. Alright then, we're back. We went away to Benevento in our first game. At 7 minutes in, we saw exactly why Jan Bruno is so useful. Ball across to Sigurd Jonsson at the back post, his 14th goal of the season. And then, on the 26th minute, almost the exact same goal. Bruno with the ball in this time, of course, and Overmars on the end of it this time for 2-0 after 25 minutes. The game kind of went a bit stale then, until the 92nd minute of the game, before Glavash pulled this gorgeous ball out, and who would be on the end of it to chest it in was Siggy. But I've got to be fair, Benevento were pretty good in this game, and honestly, I think 3-0 is extremely harsh on them, and really good in our favour, of course. Nice to see Jan Bruno back in doing his thing. Sigurd Jonsson continues to smash goals in. I've been trying to give Overmars a bit more first-team football over this period, and to be fair, he did score in this game. Next up, it was at home against Lazio. I say a top of the table clash, but they were sort of struggling in the league at the time. Milivoje with a great ball over the top. Overmars in the net to drive it home after 34 minutes to give us an early lead. And you know how we love a good result against Lazio. Unfortunately, though, moments later, Bush's ball in. Great header from Marco Quarto, but their one made it 1-1 before half-time. In the second half, we missed a penalty at the start of in the first half, in fact. So we could have had a chance to go 2-1 up, but unfortunately, Bush's header here sort of bundled in by Milosevic, unfortunately, at that point. And then in the 69th minute, things got that little bit worse for us. Don't know what it is about us at home against some of these bigger sides. Bamba with the ball around the side, Borussia there, and it was suddenly 3-1 to Lazio. Somewhat against the run of play as well, annoyingly, but that just seems to be the pattern of these things. Then in the 83rd minute, Granados' ball in, Uriarte's header, and it was 3-2, but not enough. Lazio kind of got their revenge after the 2-3-2 defeats in the Cup. But once again, we find ourselves having played a home game against one of the better sides going, we're actually pretty good, and come out with the defeat. I think the only game we've lost this season that I thought we were genuinely bad in was the Inter game. This one easily could have been a different result on the night, but unfortunately the missed penalty in the second half really did not help us. Unfortunately, it's literally 2 minutes later they went and took the lead, so it's the tiny margins, really. And then lastly, a very rotated side drew 0-0 away at Genoa. I basically rotated every player in the first 11 S17-E7 minus the 2 centre-backs and Petar Milosevic in this game. And we only really got a lot better in the second period when I started bringing on some subs from the first team to really try to shake things up a little bit. But getting out without a defeat, I suppose, was a good sign, given that in the other game, Napoli lost to Benevento and Juventus did win, but it wasn't enough. So as things go, we actually still remain 4 points clear at the top of the league. A chance to potentially go higher, but I felt like resting the players before the game against Porto today was more important, particularly as we didn't actually suffer any negative results in the sense that, yeah, we could have gained more of a lead, but we also didn't lose the lead that we had as Juve now overtakes. So the gap is starting to come down a tiny little bit, but still, Napoli sort of stumbling a little bit as well. Baris Aslan is now really hammering them in for Roma again. Second half of the season, he seems to come to life, and I wouldn't be surprised if he hit another 32, 33 this year. It's just how he does. And even better news, and I don't think this has ever happened to me, I'll say before, Magnus Nissen won the Next Gen award, which is actually outrageously impressive for the young man, but we also had Nevedomski come second in the Next Gen award, so 2 different Sassuolo players making the top 2, and also, we had ourselves a youth intake. You should be seeing it on your screen now. Honestly, I don't think it's all that spectacular, but then we have to bear in mind, of course, our squad has generated a lot more quality. We've got a lot better players in our squad than when we first came into the club, so I think our youth intakes, we do need to temper that a little bit. What I would note is just how diverse the nationalities are in our youth intake. There's just so many of them. This might be the most I've ever seen in a single youth intake. So I'll just show you the 2 sort of standouts. So there's a San Marinese guy in there too, who will no doubt get about 70 caps for them. So the first of them is Giovanni Canova, a sort of striker, come winger, come not really sure what he exactly is. Unambitious personality as well, very low determination, not superb, but hey, you live and learn. The other is a player who, once again, unfortunately has unambitious personality, but does at least have decent determination, is Christophe De Witt, a Belgian left-back who, actually, from a starting point of being 15 years old and already having crossing of 7 and dribbling of 9, that's actually not bad. Good bravery, good aggression. There's some nice attributes to build on there. I don't think he's anything spectacular, but I mean, consistency isn't ideal either. I think long term, he's probably got more of a rise potentially in him than the other lad, to be fair. But yeah, loads of cool names in there. Now, obviously, huge rotation. Huge is going to be required for this game, but that's fine. I played an almost completely rotated side for the last game, so I want to go back to not exactly... Actually, no, basically exactly this, with Siggy Johnson coming on the right-hand side. He's kind of usurped Lancer at the moment as first choice on that side, on account of, 15 goals this season from Siggy Johnson. That's the most he's ever scored in a season since we took over the club, and he's been playing at right wing. Lancer will definitely be on the bench, though. Definitely not going to have him not there. And I will obviously wean him back into the team, too, because he's still got a lot to offer. We know that. So Porto actually do play a slightly more interesting type of system. I had a little look at Nenetsa. He's decent, obviously, but, well out of our price range currently. Interesting that he's got so many goals whilst also not playing through the middle. I think I might go after him a bit more. Try to take him out the game a little bit more, because clearly he's one of their danger men. So, let's go. Head in the game. Get ourselves hopefully through to a semi-final, which would be outrageous. In the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, I still think we're slightly ahead of schedule as far as our European progression. I wasn't expecting to get to that quarterfinal in the first season, nor really in the second season. So I feel like now there's more of an expectation that we should have been in this round, and I think this is sort of where I would expect us to be. But we've got a chance to potentially go one step further. Yeah, it's a Mexican guy. I'll show you his attributes here. He's a guy I was looking at a few years ago as a potential left-sided option, but the deal wasn't, we couldn't quite free up the EU spot at the time, or the non-EU spot at the time, to try and bring him in. I swear he moved to a different club, though. I thought he moved to the Premier League. But hey, maybe he's left and gone to Porto now. Troy Gregory now, on this left-hand side. It's got Bruna in support, as always. I presume he will use him. Yes, Bruna. Oh, pops it through brilliantly. And Overmars with a good little header saved by Dion Taft. Siggy Johnson again picking up. He does love a dribble, does Siggy. It doesn't always suit the tactic perfectly, but it does give us a little outball from time to time. It's a terrible pass for Overmars, but he's going to be able to keep this in and allow some potential shifting around as Michelchea drops it down for Granados, and it's cleared away, but a really strong start from the Rodrigo for Porto. Oh my god. 10 minutes in, and it's the away goal that we didn't want. Their first shot, first opportunity of the match. It's not even that close to goal. It's quite a long way out. He's got look at the whip on that, in off the post. I mean, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up. That is an extraordinary free kick. See what Troy Gregory can do. He looks up for it tonight, though, taking on defenders. Goes past one defender. Great stuff. Ball in. Siggy Jonsson's surely going to win the header, but he's just that too far away from goal. Milivojev. Siggy Jonsson again. Gregory, can he cut inside and find the shot or slide it to someone? Granados! Just wide. He scored the brilliant winner against Leipzig. to Milivojev. Oh, nice pick out for Bruna. Can he do something great? Ball in, and it's in the back of the net. And who else would it be? 16 goals this season for Stimir and Sigurjonsson. Jan Bruna with the assist to Siggy is just such a wonderful pairing. I think that might be Jan Bruna's first assist in the Champions League this season, in fairness, but just a lovely pick out. I don't know who this is that actually plays this pass. I think it's Milivojev that just spreads this out wide for Jan Bruna, completely catches him by surprise. So a lovely ball across. And I think there's a slight deflection on that, but it doesn't matter as we are level, and I think deservedly so. We are going to need to make sure that we turn this into a win, though. I don't think we can afford to take a 1-1 to Porto for us. Milivojev! Oh, it's a brilliant strike. Mihailo Milivojev on the, well, not on the stroke of half-time, but not long before half-time, gives us, I think, a deserved lead here. We've managed to dig deep after falling behind, but we've always looked in control of this game. Even when we went behind, it still felt like we'd have complete control to get the chance to get back into it. This time an assist from Troy Gregory. I think that takes him to double figures for both now. They just give Milivojev way too much space, and you can't do that with a player even of his quality from that sort of position. Great goal. Interestingly, no goals in any of the other ties so far in the first half. It's only this game that has featured goals so far, and I think we've been good value for the lead, but a third goal would make all the difference. Michal Chaya and Sigurjonsson, and it's in the back of the net, and it's Tynan Overmars for 3-1 to Sassuolo. Okay, this team looks like we've got the better of Porto, and it's just so nice that we're creating chances in this game, looking dominant, but more importantly, actually taking them. It's a lovely little pass here from Milivojev to slide it through for Michal Chaya. I think Sigurjonsson gets the assist because his shot goes into the... Oh no, it looks like a pass maybe, or a mishit shot. It doesn't matter because Overmars is in the right space, and it's 3-1. What started off as a very poor beginning to the game, after the 30th minute has turned into a very good start. 3-1 up at half-time, exactly what we want. I think a fourth goal, though, wouldn't go amiss, because you just never know in these second legs. Still got to be careful, though. Porto haven't had another shot yet, but it only takes one, unfortunately. But here we go, a chance for a breakaway with Granados, perhaps. Bringing it forward. They're kind of... Oh, hello. Good ball. Sigurjonsson might be able to get in the box here and have a shot, perhaps. Sigurjonsson... Oh, it's wide of the post. Oh, if that goes in... Credit to Southampton, by the way. 75 minutes gone at home against Barcelona, and it's still 0-0 in that game. So they're clearly no mugs, honestly. They just took a little while to get going in the Champions League this season, and unfortunately, they did it against us. Michal Chaya, ball in, and Gregory! Oh, it's a good chance for us, potentially, as Granados nearly gets on the end of it for 4, potentially. A fourth goal would make me feel a lot more comfortable, particularly with the away goal that Porto have. But I also have huge confidence that we'll be able to go to Portugal and grab ourselves at least a goal in that game to cancel things out. Bruna again, into the box for Granados, and Milivojev through again, and he's done it what a hit. Sassuolo 4, Porto 1, and Mihailo Milivojev might well be having the best game he's ever had in the green and black today. 2 absolutely brilliant strikes from him, and we have a 4-1 advantage now to take to Portugal. Lovely little roll-off here, but that is an even better hit than the first one. Come on! Well, it looks like that is going to be the case. Bruno's just picked up a knock, and I've actually just had to take him off, so we are temporarily down to 10 men. Oh, no! Oh my god, Lancer could have surely killed the tie there with a 5th goal. Wow, I mean, it is Sassuolo 4, Porto 1, and about as dominant a performance as we could have asked for here. Milivojev was absolutely imperious, Siggy was great, Overmars did a solid job through the middle as well. Everybody was just excellent in this game, and I think we got a thoroughly deserved victory in the end, but it's just nice to see us actually take advantage of being as good as we are. That gives us a huge chance to take a 3-goal lead to Portugal. If we play even half this well, surely there's a shot at a semi-final. Which could actually end up being against Southampton at this rate, because they drew 0-0 against Barca, which is kind of nutty. Anyway, we've got one game off camera in between against Milan midweek, which we will have to try to go fairly strong for, because we need the points. But then back for the second leg against Porto. I still don't think we're through. Something just feels wrong. Right then. We had one game off camera in between our 2 Porto matches. I had to play a relatively full strength side because it was Milan and they are 5th in the league, and we kind of needed to keep the points going, knowing that we at least had a bit of a rest sort of afterwards. And I have no words for this game, but in a good way for once. So firstly, 20 minutes in, Pavlich with a gorgeous free kick comes through, and Uriarte gave us a lead against Milan. We'd started the game pretty strongly, and I was impressed with the guys. Then on 34 minutes, Overmars, look at this, goes past one, then goes past the second one, does the goalkeeper, dinks it over, and it was 2-0. He's been spectacular today. Just fantastic work. And then things kind of took a little bit of a downward turn. In the second half, 56 minutes on, we were kind of just killing the game, doing a nice job. Ball through for Overmars here, and he was able to hopefully kill the game at 3-0 there with his second goal of the night. But it was at that point that Milan did start to wake up a little bit. In the 75th minute, it's 3-1 at this point, bear in mind. Con with the ball across, the ball deflects off the bar, and Marcus Leopoldo puts it over the line for 3-1 to get Milan back in it a little bit, with a little bit of hope there. But only moments later, some gorgeous play in the midfield comes to Lancer on the right-hand side here. Milivojev with the ball fallen behind, and Overmars is able to complete his hat-trick and put us 4-1 up against AC Milan. Not bad from the guys at all, but there was more. 84th minute on the clock, Marcus Leonardo with the ball over the top. I thought Perillo was offside here. Goalkeeper couldn't really do much about it, and Milan got away back in at 4-2, and I did kind of worry for us at that point, but I really needn't have, as 88 minutes in, Glavash with the penalty, and it was 5-2 against Milan, but then in the 93rd minute, Pavlish's ball in, Glavash's header, and it was 6-2 against Milan, but somehow, in the 96th minute, Candido's ball in, Lanza on the end, 7-2. I just don't even know. This game went off the rails from like the 80th minute onwards, really. When we got the 4th goal, and then they got one back, but then to score goals in the 88th, 93rd, and 96th minute to go 7-2 up against Milan. It's the sort of performance that I feel like has been coming all season, and it just didn't quite come to fruition. Glavash got 2 goals off the bench in this game, which is absolutely mental. What a performance. Brief gander at the league. Nothing's really changed as far as our gap at the top, but the plus 58 goal difference is certainly making us look pretty damn good. Now, slight bad news, in that obviously Jan Bruno picked up a slight knock, but was back. Overmars had a slight knock in that game, but he should be available today. Pavlish, though, may not be, because he got an injury in training yesterday, despite I don't even know how that's possible, considering we didn't even have any, like, training that was, like, involves going outside. My assumption is that he fell over a table or something. So some changes will possibly be necessary. Yeah, this is my point. So Overmars will probably be okay to start here. Pavlish, probably not. Not with that, and I don't want to risk him getting hurt longer, particularly when we got a 4-1 lead. So, slight switcheroo here. No, Mihilche will still play right back. Niewiadomski will come in. Eklu will not play on this right-hand side. I am going to go with Siggy again. I'm still slowly weaning Lancer back into first-team football, and that's fine. Everybody else, I think, should be okay. Bruno, we still got to be a little bit careful with, but he's the sort of player that if it's looking dead and buried, then I will bring on Ryan Thompson just to cover it, even if it's like half-time. I think we'll get Glavash on there, because we're 4-1 up, but there's that away goal, and a 3-0 win for Porto would see us sunk, and you just never know with these things. They're looking like they're going to play the same system. We're going to go after Nenetza again. Keeping an eye on that Southampton-Barcelona tie is definitely going to be worth doing. I still think Barcelona should probably win that, given that they're at home, but Southampton didn't concede an away goal, so you just never know. And at the end of the day, if they're good enough to beat Barcelona, then us versus Southampton in the semi could be very, very interesting indeed, given what happened in the group stages against them. Now, obviously, that's a bit ahead of ourselves. I'm not even going to begin to talk about what could happen if we get through until we are actually through. Patience and control, that's what I want to see from us. The same kind of patience and control we saw last time. It's a big task for the youngster Niewiadomski today, but I feel like he's capable of handling it. Oh, nice ball. Nice shot. Just need to keep our heads cool. You know there's going to come a point in this game where Porto just inexplicably start finding tons of opportunities, and we need to make sure that we put that off as long as possible. It just seems to always happen in these Champions League games. They just suddenly find something, and we need to be ready for when that starts to happen to see it early as Overmars. Oh, it scored! That's it. Porto 0, Sassuolo 1. Tynan Overmars has been in phenomenal form lately. It's a great ball through. I don't know how he's found the angle there. 5-1, and that now cancels out the away goal difference. And now Porto need 4 goals. Great ball through from Milivojevic again. I mean, okay, I suppose the goalkeeper's a little bit flat-footed, but really, he should be stopping that. Come on! But it is looking very good for us at the moment for a spot in a semi-final. The question is, who would it be against, with Barca and Southampton still being at 0-0 on aggregate? Barcelona are struggling against them. It's just, there's no two ways about it. Bruno's ball in now, maybe. Can he pick a pass? Oh, Gregory might, though. Finds the edge of the box for Oh, and it's come back to him again! And Milivojevic nearly banged another one. Well, half-time, I think it's been a pretty even game, actually. We've just started to turn the screw a little bit as the half's worn on. They had a nice little start to the game, but we've just started to take control a bit. Lots of possession as well. Still 0-0 in the other game. My plan is go to 60 minutes and then take off, if things are still looking good for us, take off anybody who I feel like is going to potentially run into injury or fitness issues, so the likes of Overmars potentially, and obviously Jan Bruno, get Nissen and Ryan Thompson on around 60 minutes just to try to, particularly if we were to grab another one, Milivojevic in the space again! He's done it for, I cannot believe this, man. It's 6-1 on aggregate, and Mihailo Milivojevic has doubled his goal tally for the season in 2 matches against Porto. He's like our very own version of Ricardo Martins. Porto just keep giving Milivojevic acres of space on the edge of their area, and he's pulled out 3 absolute bangers, and it's now 6-1 on aggregate. Granados, Milivojevic, oh, look at the... Gee, imagine if that had been a goal. Throwing him back... Oh, who do we think we are? Stoke City? Still 0-0 on aggregate between Barca and Saints. That's mental that Saints have been able to do that. We've just never ever looked in doubt today. Just the perfect performance. It is looking like the other game is going to go to extra time for it to see who's going to be... Wow. That's actually good for Southampton because they've now got an extra half an hour to score an away goal. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up facing Southampton in the Champions League semi-final, which... if you'd have given me 1,000 guesses at the start of the season as to who we would face in the Champions League semi, if we were to get to one, I would not have picked Southampton. But yeah, that was just about as calm and collected as you like, really. Milivojevic again, absolute banger, back-to-back man of the matches. Southampton beat Barcelona on penalties. Wow, we will get a rematch against Saints. And I'll be honest with you, I think we looked pretty good in both games against Southampton. The question then becomes, oh my goodness me, if we were to get past Southampton, it would be win or bust. Win, the season's over, series is over. Lose, and we're out of Sassuolo. So, this is going to get very, very interesting indeed. They were good enough to beat Barca. That is going to be tomorrow's video. Southampton in the Champions League semi. That's going to be very, very interesting. Because, they were good enough to beat Barca. So in theory, if we were good enough to get through and beat them, in theory, that means we're better than Barca, but it does prove... Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. It's one of those situations where if we were to get knocked out by Southampton, I actually wouldn't be as bothered as I would be normally, just because I do wonder if we're ready. But at the same time, if we beat them, I would then be like, right, we are ready to go for this, and we have to take the opportunity when it presents itself. When you look at our form lately, other than that, obviously, we would be definitely in a position. I think this squad, if they stay fit, is strong enough to make it happen for us, to be fair. So, that's what's coming up in the next video. If you've enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you have, drop a like. That'd be stupendous. If you're new to the channel, subscribe too. That'll be gorgeous. I stream on Twitch on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, so you can follow there too, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Champions League semi. Thank you so much for watching. Hold your gun. Capybara. Bye-bye.